This is the Lean Builders Hoots on the Ground podcast with absolutely, positively no bullshito. Join us as we dig into exactly what lean construction is and how we can use these concepts and strategies in the field. This podcast will be different as we journey to job sites and mine the minds of lean builders, all in effort to pass forward building knowledge from those who have put their time in to learn a better way. Because that's just what lean builders do.
What's up, y'all? Adam Hoots here, the lean builder, Hoots on the ground, with all the old dogs here at LCI Congress 27. And I am excited because the old dogs are taking over Congress, baby. We've been talking a lot. Speaking of, we got one of the older dogs coming in, baby.
Here we go.
Come on, Brian. So real fast, I think the way we want to get this thing kicked off is I want to kind of introduce everybody, right? Let's maybe a quick 10, 15 second around who are you and what is an old dog to you, okay? Again, y'all know me, I'm Adam Hoots. An old dog to me is a builder that has experienced a traditional way and has learned a better way. What you think, Mike?
I'm Mike Childs, and I think old dogs are people that are passionate about making our industry better and sharing that knowledge with our young workers out there.
What's up? I'm Boone White, and I think an old dog is somebody who's gotten freaking frustrated with that old way and has learned how to do a better way for him and for his family and for the industry.
Man, I'm Jordan Leadham, co-build, and I think an old dog is somebody who cares about people, who wants to see health for the people that come in the industry and want to make that change to see this place be the industry that we know it can be.
I'm Brian Childs, the brother of Mike Childs. He's the older dog.
But not the eldest dog.
I think an old dog is just somebody who wants to eliminate those silos, and if you find something, share it, because it can help the industry, not just your company.
That's right.
I'm Jeff Riley. All very well said. You're not leaving a lot of meat left on that bone, but I think, as a lot would probably say, we're choosing to be great. We're choosing to make a difference. We're all coming here with a purpose, and here having the conversations, just that little thing of having that conversation here with new people and inviting them to the community.
That reminds me of Itzler's comment yesterday, right? Be outstanding when someone asks you.
For sure.
Emerson Doherty, lean manager with Turner, and I believe an old dog is that dog that had an old bone, but you never get a dog to turn down a new one. So whether you're trying to learn a new trick with that old dog, you're going to share that enthusiasm and passion, searching for, that's the knowledge that we get back, train back, and that way we can really be that old dog sharer.
Yeah, don't hide your bones though, right? Don't take your bone home.
I'm Manny Hoyal, Senior Superintendent with Skanska, and to me, an old dog is somebody that really goes out there. It doesn't matter what company they work for. They're all about elevating the industry that we work in and making every day better for the men and women that spent countless hours building our lives, and we spend countless hours building relationships with them.
So I'm James Glass. I'm the General Superintendent for Turner here in Texas. I think an old dog is somebody who wants you and you as sharing their wisdom and mentoring younger staff, sharing that experience, but it's paying back and paying forward our experience and wisdom, because none of us got to where we are by ourselves, and it's our job and kind of our duty to share it on to the younger generation and all the experience we had and get them to where we are.
Sam Sipware, Hanson Robbins and Company, trade partner with the Old Dogs. And I think Old Dog is a community that will take in anybody, let you join, have a voice, just like the lead process. And let's build this world with from the construction workers.
So me, L.R. Weed, the Andrews, the guy with lean in his name. Robbins and Ward, superintendent down in Miami, Florida, Fort Lauderdale. To me, an old dog is the readers of the path. And by leadership is all about influence, like John Maxwell says. The only way to increase your influence is through competency and character. We got a lot of competency in this room. And there's also a lot of high character shown. we're the leaders of the pack.
There are a lot of characters.
A lot of characters usually.
Well, here's what I find interesting, right? None of us define it as an old person. None of us define it as a way to make money. None of us define it as a way to get fame, right? And so I think these are important points, right? We've got an industry to change. People are suffering in the industry, and those people suffering have the littlest control over eliminating that suffering. And so Old Dawgs are dying or retiring at a rate of roughly 6 leaving to 1 coming in, right? And let's be honest, that 1 coming in, right? James, what do you think about that 1 coming in? What's that skill level like right now?
Oh, it's as low as it could be, 0. There are people that want to work with it, though, and nobody's trained them. Nobody's told them what to expect, but a lot of it can start.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's key. No one's trained them. That means they can't be trained. We just don't have industry focus on training and building up that next generation in.
Well, I think part of it too is if you think about this, for me, I think like Old Dawgs learn new tricks. For me, I was an old dog that had to learn new tricks. That was disrespecting people, right? As a young super. And I remember my dad telling me he did not want me to get in the industry because he was a crusty old super. I remember as a kid going to his job site to visit him during the summer and seeing his name on the wall with a lot of words next to it in the porta potty. And he had to learn what it meant, but he didn't want that for me. So I think Old Dawgs, like, to get these young guys in and make them good, we got to make us good too. Like, we got to be training us, because if we want to reach that generation, we got to keep learning new tricks and make this place better for us. So that's a passion project for me.
Yeah.
It is. It is accountability.
Yeah.
Accountability, because the results that we want from the new ones coming in are even probably a higher demand on them than what we have ourselves, and they don't get the training. We're setting them up to fail, but we want to take accountability on that. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to our trade partners too. We don't educate them in regards to what main results can be.
But again, we don't want to be fair. We don't want to find common ground all the time. We heard that message this morning.
Yeah.
So getting to know is an important point. What you got it?
Bringing up a porta potty, that used to be the badge of honor.
Yeah.
Superintendent.
You went.
And that was, they're doing their job. That's right. The deal is nowadays, modern world, that shouldn't be the standard.
No.
That's because you were being a hairman. And rulers will iron heroes pen. That's not the way it should be done. Right.
That's it. I'll add to what Emerson said about modeling behavior. The behaviors you want to see. Like Max Story says, if you don't model the behavior you're teaching something different. So that's really what it's about. You can't say one thing and go out to job site and do another. And that happens far too often in the industry.
Yeah,
You expect behavior, but you don't demonstrate that behavior yourself.
and I'm very, very guilty of that myself. In fact, Mr. Jeff Riley and I walked halfway home until my cowboy boots hurt my feet. And then I stopped and called an Uber, but I'd love for you to kind of lean into that conversation. You don't have to spill all the details, but maybe talk a little bit about our conversation on the way home from the event last night.
Well, what it comes down to is accountability, kind of going back to that, right? You can't be calling somebody out and then without reflecting and taking a look at how you might be doing that same exact thing, but in a different lens. So sometimes it takes these conversations, and that's one of the beautiful things about this community that we've built here, right? Is we have these people to reach out to and talk to, and hopefully call us out here and there, right?
Yeah. Can I add one thing real fast? Expanding on my kind of hidden comment there, right? I haven't had a lot of positive male role models in my life. And so when I look around this group, I see a bunch of really positive male role models in my life. Buddy Brumley was one of the first ones that ever reached out to me and was that positive influence in my life. And unfortunately, Buddy's one of the 6 that left our industry. Buddy and Armando both left our industry in the last year. So that really brings that statistic to mind, right? Where when those 6 people leave and 1 comes in, it's just numbers. But when 2 of those 6 should have been sitting here with us this year and they're not, that's where it really, really tears on my heart. And for me, I need positive male role models around me to hold me accountable for everything Jeff just said.
Yeah, I'll add to that. There's a book Tim Spiker wrote called The Only Leaders Worth Following. On the bottom of every page of the book, it says, who, not what. There's 3 words, who, not what. Who you are as a person matters more than what you do, especially when it comes to leadership. All the training that deals with leadership, most of it is what training, what you do as a leader. Nobody's saying who you are is more important, you know what I mean? So at some point, that accountability piece, you got to look in the mirror and figure out who you are, what type of person you want to show up as, because it's going to be reflected. Every time you show up to the job site, all the men and women there, their number one question is, are you a leader worth following? Am I going to choose to follow you? Because it's always a choice. Doesn't matter your title, general superintendent, senior superintendent, none of that means anything to them. It's who you are as an individual.
I'll expand on that. I've been a member of this Old Dog community for going on 3.5 years, I think. And the differences that I can see in myself because of this group and this group of leaders is outstanding. And I actually worked with a contractor, and they told me I was way different, and my attitude was way different. They didn't know if I fit into their mold. So I want to thank you guys all for that, because this mold's a lot better.
Yeah, and real quick, Denver, welcome. Denver Waters, can you just name company and what is an Old Dog?
Yeah, I'm Denver Waters. I am from Peoria, Illinois. I work for Point Core Construction. An old dog to me, I guess, is somebody who's been around a while, seen a lot of stuff, made a lot of mistakes along the way, and learned from them, right? I know I have. I came up through Carpenters Union. I was a carpenter for 15 years, and learned a lot along the way about, mainly there's got to be a better way to do this, right?
And you just caught us right back up to the conversation, man. I love. What were you guys, Brian? Well,
I was gonna say, as those 6, I'm that one. I'm newer to the industry, and I found myself as a lean specialist I was a sponge, but I was trying to squeeze out the people without any water in it. And groups like this is what's helping fill that sponge up, so I can go out there and really make an impact instead of just going out there and regurgitating what I've heard and read in books. Talk to people that have had that experience, soak up as much as I can, then I can go squeeze that out.
What an amazing testimony.
I want to add something in regards to what you mentioned about it's an entertainment. Everybody in this room has something to deal, and that, especially as you ask, but you know it's not. You make sure you're finding with that. But most importantly, and sometimes we talk to people whether they mentoring or just trying to give them that gem or nugget. One thing I shared with my sister is my baby sister. She's 6 minutes into and show them who you are by doing who you are. You gotta practice what you think. You have to reach for the higher goals that you want somebody else to be able to get you, but never ask somebody for something you're not willing to do yourself. And not anybody mentioned on that. That's why I say it's an attitude.
It's a great answer.
I know one thing, I want to follow up on what you said, actually, is, when I look at this journey I've taken through lean, through, the Old Dogs, it's being a better me. And I think one thing I've loved about all you guys is it also carries a huge responsibility for those we're training. I hired a kid recently, man, just so green behind the ears, right? He's so learning, right? But I remember in his interview, I said, who's your role model? And he goes, my father-in-law, because he's such a good father. He's such a good husband. I want to be like that one day. I remember thinking, I was like, man, this industry, if it's done wrong, you can tear somebody's life apart, right? Because we've seen it to people. But if done right, you carry such a heavy responsibility to, man, when that guy goes home, I want him to live that vision. I don't want him just to be an amazing super. I want him to be an amazing husband. Just found out he's having his first baby. I'm like, dude, that's really what I want to do. So to your point, when I'm training these guys, and I see this out of all you guys too, so I'm just like, man, I'm so excited to see him not just be great at what he's doing, but I can't wait to see him have that child be born, to get married, right? To have his first home. That's what energizes me. So I just feel that heavy burden. I know the Old Dogs do too, so it excites me, man.
So Boone, how do you balance that workload, right? Because we're a bunch of old dogs in here. We're talking about the sociology, psychology, so we haven't even hit the technical side. How do you balance this?
So how do you balance the workload between trying to use those soft skills, but also being that bad superintendent, like that grit?
Well, and having enough technical knowledge to support that soft skill.
Yeah, that's a good question. So
you've got to have grit in this industry to do this job. It is a fact of life. If you're going to be, especially if you're going to be a superintendent, if you're going to be in the field, you've got to have that toughness to be out there. But you also got to have that curiosity, and you've got to have that humbleness to find a better way and to have those conversations with the people that make a difference.
You just said a crucial word that I heard in a podcast yesterday, humble.
Yes.
Humble. So I said through the Ted Lasso presentation, humble pie is focused on, it's got a U in it, right? So when we're, well, here, what am I doing? The guy who wrote the presentation is
So a good check, a lot of your thoughts are your thoughts centered on what I want to do? Do I want to grow? Do I want to gain? If so, if I is in the middle of it, check yourself. It's probably prideful, because also I is in the middle of pride, right? But if your thoughts are focused on you, how can I help you? How can I build up you? Just like the word humble, now you have you in the middle.
So if you think about it, at least for me, that I'll treat all the same way. Who do you spend more time with? I spend more time with people at work than I do at home. I'm on a project that's blowing and going, work 60 hours in 5 days. If you work Saturdays, and Sundays, I spend more time at work than I do at home. So
I'm gonna start calling you by the way.
but you want, just like your family, you want to develop a relationship with all these people you're spending time with, and part of that, developing that relationship, is bringing them along, bringing them up. And so you don't have to spend so much time there, because now you've trained them, now you trust them, they trust you, you can work as a team, and everybody covers each other's back.
Yeah.
James,
What about the ones that you don't want to build those relationships with,
you still got to deal with them. They're on that project.
Well, the way I look at it is my responsibility to build a relationship with everybody. Now, to what degree? Exactly. Even if it's a struggle, my personal philosophy is I never give up on anybody, no matter how frustrating they are, no matter how frustrating I am to them.
Why do you consider that a struggle? So we had a really deep conversation last night about emotional regulation, right? And for me, when I get frustrated, I'm either like all on or I'm all off. You're dead to me.
I don't do that.
What do you do?
I try to step back. So like I said all along is, how do you change other people's behavior? You have to change your behavior. What I'm doing is not working. I try to consider, what can I change to make somebody change their behavior? So I don't give up on anybody. We've had a couple of head scratchers over the years, but we managed to get through it. And they didn't quit me, and I didn't quit them, and we made it work. We weren't best friends, and hugged every time we saw each other, but we ended up respecting each other.
I needed that.
Yeah.
I'll add on to what Boone said. In my opinion, Patrick Lencioni said it best in that book, Humble, Hungry, and Smart.
Yeah.
And
Ideal team player.
The ideal team player. If you come with those three virtues in a person, if you look to hire those three, humble, hungry, and smart, he's not talking about book smart or technical competency. He's talking about high level of emotional intelligence.
That's socio-technical balance.
Yeah, so emotional intelligence is something they call soft skills, but it's actually an oxymoron. It's very hard to do. Yeah. It's very hard to develop.
So this is part of, yeah. Hold on. Do that again, will ya? Hey, Vanny, we miss you, Vanny.
First of all, I thought he was talking about some Italian dude. The Boston accent was so bad.
So that's what I'm talking about, because all this is playing together right now, and this is tripping me out. So y'all know, don't tell anybody else outside of this podcast booth, I'm getting a PhD, right? I'm studying emotional intelligence. Academic version of this is 3 filters. It's self and social awareness, right? So I'm aware of myself in a social environment. I'm aware of the social environments and myself and how I interact. The second kind of definition breakdown, right? So what we do in academia is we take one thing, we make it 3 things, so we can study 3 things, and then we make it 12 things. So that the research is never ending and grants keep coming. But it's 3 things according to the research I've done. And I'm looking directly at you because you blew my mind last night, okay? Just talking about this stuff, Jeff Riley. So self and social awareness, self and social regulation, and self and social relationship management. What does that mean to you, Jeff Raleigh?
So we were having this conversation to get a little vulnerable here, right? I was thinking about my oldest son, right? He's got 1 and 3 for days. But
1 and 3, what are those?
The first two.
Awareness and relationship management.
Yeah, man, he's just got it. He's just got it. You can walk into a room, you can feel the room, right? And he knows how to read the room and react appropriately. But the emotional regulation, that's something that you'll spend a lifetime trying to figure out, right? And nobody's perfected. It's tough, right? It's like we were at the kitchen sink yesterday, right? We're like, it's either all on or it's all up. Let it up a little bit, right? Don't blast your emotion at something else. Let it out because it's unhealthy.
I feel I'm about to get really nerdy here, but here's where we focus on this at our company, right? Because we talk about this. We talk about our window of tolerance, right? You know, as people, and it kind of goes to what you said, Adam, about sometimes, man, you're just like so frustrated with somebody and somebody I just don't even care about them anymore. And I think for us, like what we focus on is if I and my team want to be better leaders, we have to increase our window of tolerance. And what that is it's the mental range where you're still using your prefrontal cortex. The moment that you're no longer using your prefrontal cortex, you're either living in fight or flight or freeze and fawn. And so the bigger I can expand that, meaning that it's basically the more shit you can take. It's like the more
very scientific.
So like the more mud that can be thrown at me and I don't get angry or don't get frustrated and don't start wanting to scream at a trade partner, you can actually increase that window scientifically, right? And
how do you exercise that muscle personally?
So a lot of what we do is you got to find out what it is that's triggering you. I know for me, I'll share the story, and it sounds so simple, right? And I hate using the word trauma because it sounds so soft and dumb, but I worked with this guy who was one of the most horrible people I know. I changed my ringtone on my phone because I wanted to know when he was calling because I didn't want to hear him.
Yeah.
But to this day, if that ringtone goes, dude, my heart will start racing. Like, I get fired up, right? And that's me. What's happening is I'm no longer living in my prefrontal cortex. I'm actually living now. I'm going outside of the window of tolerance, and I'm going more into that animal state, I'm angry, right? And if that ringtone's happening and the trade partner's talking to me, I'm probably not going to treat them the way I should.
This was science through a coffee cup. Somebody handed
Yes.
somebody a warm coffee cup, they received warmer. A cold coffee cup, they were a little colder.
And so for us, like the more I can increase that, the better I can react when all the crazy happens on the job site. When that pour goes wrong and that rebar wasn't done right, now I'm pissed. If I can make that window bigger, I'm going to show up better for those people.
I want to go.
I think that also builds on consistency too, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
our attitude, our emotions, right?
Yeah.
Because if we're able to stay consistent no matter how dire the situation is, right? That's what people are really going to be like.
Yes,
that
that's
guy,
exactly
that's
what
it.
it is, yes.
The person,
Yes.
I will go to hell and back with that individual.
Yep.
I know that we got that with everybody here, so that's what
Yeah.
just, you know.
Yeah.
I
It's a
go.
very simple policy that I use when I get angry or something.
Yeah.
Okay, it was very simple, and it's do any of you wake up every morning planning on screwing up?
No.
I mean, does anybody in this room want to lose?
No.
There's not anybody in this world. So if a guy gets I get frustrated with a guy because he did something wrong, my first thought is he didn't mean to do that. Let's step back and evaluate why, and we try and fix that problem.
Fix the system. Sam was not failing the trade partner.
We're about to scoot on down and welcome Mr. James Gable into the show here.
All right.
Everything y'all just talked about is a lifetime journey. Like I said, I'm the oldest dog. Been doing this for 45 years. I was not born being the superintendent. You know, just something that I had to learn along the way. Yeah. There are times when you have to drop the hammer. Like my son. My son is very much like me, and I watch him. And he was late 30s, and I tell him the difference between me and him is I know him but wild than ever. He was but that was a journey. I was like him when I was younger.
Yeah.
Learned over the years from other people, and had learned because I did care about people. Some people think I'm an asshole, but I'm actually just going direct and to the point.
I've been told that before myself. Anybody else been told that before? So real quick, and I know we've got so many thoughts. Everybody's reaching for mics. I do want to balance the talk time, but I do want to welcome you, James, Mr. James Gable. Introduce yourself and what's an old dog in 10 seconds or less.
James Gable, an old dog is here. Just drop the mic.
Mike, what? Yeah, you had something to say, and I know Brian does. I go back to the be curious, and I go back to the pride and humility. One thing I've learned over the years, I am human, and I am gonna have the flip the lid moment where I go into fight or flight. But that is me. That's a I-centered thought. So when someone's really mad and worked up, there are times where I just do not get worked up, and it's not because I should. I mean, I have emotions, but I stay on you, right? So I only have that person for a little bit, and I need to figure out what is driving you at this point. Why are you so mad? And when you get close to wounds, people get mad. So there's something there we got to dive into, and it may not even be at you at the moment, but you only got a little time with him. So if you can stay curious and focused on you, I can go process later, and I can go figure out why I got mad, but I need them and that information at that point to figure out what's really going on. So I try to stay focused on you at that point.
Yeah, and then back to Sam's point real quick is that Dr. Deming told us a long time ago, look at the system first, the person second. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to just point fingers and blame a person, but are we setting them up for success? Are we getting mad at the right thing? It's like in your relationship with your spouse or whoever, don't get mad at each other, get mad at the situation and work on that first.
I will add to this. This is probably an abstract concept to most people, but I don't think I've ever been mad at anybody. This is me personally. But this is a serious statement. So this is how it goes in the world of spiritual elevation. There's a stage where it says that you should tell your emotions no. If you tell your emotions no, what happens? Nothing. So if you can get to the point where you compartmentalize your emotions, yes, you still have them, but if you can say no to those emotions and put yourself in the mindset of, I only want to talk about the truths and the facts about what's happening here. The emotions don't matter at this moment.
So I want to challenge you on that.
You can challenge me.
Because, emotional regulation we defined as part of emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
What I hear you saying is emotions are off or on.
No, I'm not saying they're...
Right or no?
No, they're not either off or on. You're always going to have emotions, but how you deal with those emotions and how you compartmentalize those emotions is two different things.
So you're talking about the regulation of these.
Yes. Anybody that's ever worked around, I've had people ask me,
Surprise, that's my struggle.
why have you, I never see you get mad. I never see you use profanity. I never see you go off on people. You can be standing there yelling at the top of your voice, going off, and I'll say, okay.
Do you know what's up with production versus productivity?
Yeah, we can get it done.
To comment on that, LR is right. So I've had an ulcer diagnosed to me at the age of 12. I was almost so young that I made a medical journal, but it was somebody out there that, had it, unfortunately, younger than I was. But the ulcer, for me, that will fix you. Stress management. Stress management is like regulation. It's famous stress management. I am at this level at all times. If you hear me go any higher than that, because I can go higher than that, people know that there's something wrong. But stress management, the pain of an ulcer will fix you. And when you learn how to do that, you understand that the cost of your health isn't worth it. You can share that easily with others. That they got help too that they don't want to spend and waste on things that don't really matter. So Denver and I, we have something in common. We're both carpenters by trade. I'm a union carpenter by trade, 37 years in. I've been behind the curtain. I've been in front of the curtain. I've put up the curtain. I have some perspectives to share with a lot of people that I come into contact with. And I have a passion for building. So I feel like with those types of dynamics and keeping understanding that 90% of people you come into contact with in the trades, they're gonna be upset. They're loud. This industry, they've been loud. They like to be loud. I don't drink. It's like the most anti-carpenter thing you do in this industry. It's not give your card back. Right. But I keep that level head. And I can still have fun, whether I'm sucking down root beers, ginger beer. It don't have to be your beer.
Mm-hmm. So there's
I'm with industry.
And you got this hurting around the
I have an assistant superintendent that's worked for me, or she's actually a full superintendent, works for me. And so we had an engineer on the job come and ask me to play a joke on another engineer, and I sold it to him. I mean, he bought it hook, line, and sinker. So then my PX makes the comment that I'm the best actor on the planet. And she goes, "What did she mean by that statement?" I said, "Half the shit I do is an act. You know, superintendents are actors, whatever the situation calls for." And she was surprised. She'd worked for me a year and didn't realize that half the stuff I did was an act. Whatever the situation calls for, whatever we need to motivate the person. I said, "Do you think I'm mad? That mad?" She goes, "Well, yeah." I said, "No, I wasn't mad. I was acting." And they got the person to move where I got them needed to move. So it's, some of it's emotion, some of it's the act of getting you people to do stuff. Because superintendents, I don't care what you say, we're all actors to a point.
The first thing I'm going to say on that, you all are GCs in here, okay? And you've all mentioned the one word motivate. You can't do it. You can't motivate. I'm sorry. You can influence. Motivation is you either got it or you, no, motivation you've got or you don't got. Okay, when you're an individual and you're a motivated individual, you're going to be in this booth, okay? Now, the next guy can influence you to take that to the next level, but it's not motivating. It's influenced.
And so I'm hearing some like a common thread right now, right? We talked about what do you say? We're talking about emotional regulation, right? That's what I hear us continuing to talk about. And your act, as you called it, is, hey, somebody's walking towards a leading edge. Hey, we can stop, right? Like that causes even you to get up and get excited. And you should have saw the 5 people that were walking by. They're like, what the fuck did I do? Hey, sorry, Felipe. but so there's urgency to this. And so James, you seem to be a very level-headed. You kind of drinking some of the same juice I heard from LR and from Emerson. Well, and Boone, I would kind of put you in this category too. Like I feel like. And some of the others, and Jeff, I would put you in this category too. I don't know. Maybe he's working on it.
I'll take it. I'll jump in. So, how does it work? I think this is really important because just in the last 2 weeks on the project, I had a foreman on the job. I've worked with him on multiple jobs. He says, "I have never seen you angry." Now, I didn't get angry. He goes, "But it was good to see you. There was something that I expressed it, and how I expressed it was in a way that was respectful." Because what was going on was not what we had planned. And I'm not going to dive into that whole story, but he finally saw that real side of my emotions on the job, which I've used to stuffing. But as I find myself finding out who we are and who I am, that it was okay to express it, and I expressed it in a way that got a reaction from somebody. So really for the first time, somebody saw that. So in my generation, I know there's a couple other generations in here close. There's some gray hair in here. You do regulate, you do stuff, but that's not necessarily the best way to do it. The best way is to not stuff it, which I'm not doing now. I'm doing a better job of that regulation where, you know what, I'm here most of the time anyways. So I have experienced that recently, and I think that's important even for those that we work with to see that we're real as well.
I'll agree with that, James. I'm 32 years into this trade, okay? Trade partner, not the trade in you guys' eyes, but the trade partner. And I've had multiple people. I've had every role you can imagine, the first year apprentice to the superintendent to the project manager. And as a superintendent, I always say that's the hardest job in the industry because you are hiring, firing, in control of the whole project, all the pressure's on you. But if you can find, and I'm the next in line, okay? So if you can find that even keel and reflect on yourself to find that, that's the hardest part to do, okay? And I think I found that because I've had people come to me and say, "You don't yell at me anymore. You don't drive the point home as hard as you used to." I still have the same emotion. It's the delivery that's changed a little bit to get them to, I'm going to influence them to act more like me and not act more like that hammer. So
here we go. So what's sad is I'm even keeled naturally, right? Always have been. But then I got into the industry, started being taught the old school way, and I was taught to be that hard hat throwing dog customer superintendent.
Wow.
Right? So that I had to force myself to be that way. I'm not that way. But then I started learning about lean, started learning the way we're doing things now. And, okay, yeah, we can do this job and be even keel and not be an asshole.
It's huge.
100%.
That's huge. I want to wrap this one up because we're getting close. Nothing says we have to be out here at 12:15. I mean, we rebuilt this thing for them. So, but I want everybody to finish their thoughts on this, and then I want to do a round of final thoughts and give everybody, whatever you want to kind of wrap it up for you.
I just think that we're talking about this, the real deal is the why we do this, right? And I kind of think about myself when I'm on the job site as like campground. Going camp, and my dad always say, you leave the site better than you found it. You go back, clean it down. So when I think about the guys and gals on my job, when I'm out there every day, I want them going home better than I found them. They might be crazy, they might be angry, they might be, unregulated, but I'm not gonna make them worse by the way I treat them, right? So that's kind of how I view myself on the job is, what can I do to make sure that they go home a better husband, better wife, better father, whatever it is, right? So that's kind of like my mentality when I'm out there is, how can I make sure I'm in control so I leave them better than I found them? And that's kind of like, that's what drives all this home to me is that's the goal.
You just said that respect for people word, and again, we've been talking about it this whole time, and it just got dropped. So I'm not a fan of that. I won't say hate. I won't kick it all the way out. I'll leave it in. Respect for the environment that the people are in so much that you want it better when they come back. Now we're talking about respect on a different level, right? Because it's not about the person, it's about creating the conditions around that person such that the only way they can fail is by learning. And that's a huge piece of what we're doing.
Yeah, so they can be, they can be the best person that they can be or that they are, with the time that they spend with us on site.
Yeah. Final thoughts. Really, we don't have to end at 12:15. I don't even know what time it is.
No, being here last year and being here this year, it's easy to be motivated right here around these people. And it's easy though when you get home to the fire to kind of go down a little bit. And I challenge each of us to reach out to somebody 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month down the road. Say, hey, are you still fired up? Are we still doing this? Or are we going to wait till next Congress till we get fired up again? We got to keep that fire going. And that's on this group to make sure that we're keeping each other accountable to do that.
Yeah, appreciate what you said there. Lone wolf mentality is something that we can all easily get sucked into, right? And a lot of times I feel like I'm fighting these battles alone. I got to remember that I'm not, you know what I'm saying? We've all been in these same shoes and we're all in the same boat together. So, and then one thought I had, speaking of emotional regulation and intelligence, something I heard that stuck with me is be the ship, not the ocean. So sail along those waves. The storms are going to come. The big waves are going to come. There's going to be smooth sailing at times, but don't get sucked under the water. You know what I'm saying? So that sticks with me to remember to be the ship, not the ocean. So.
That was huge.
Nice. So I have two things real quick on the front end, back to respect for people. I think that's very easy to say. We all say it. Everybody in this whole place says it all the time, right? It's really important that we define what that is in your workplace. Define that and strive towards that. The second thing I wanted to say was we had the opportunity before this to sit down with Rex Miller, who was very influential to me. One specific exercise, the trust matrix there, and just to give you the long and short of it, and we're coaching leaders here, right? He has you go through and think about the worst job that you've been on. Think about that, think it through, and as a matrix, and you give yourself a score, so on and so forth, and that's beside the point.
Think of any job. That way you find positive or negative.
Right, yes. Right. So do it twice. Do your worst job, do your best job. However you want to do it, but you reflect on those, right? At the end of it, what changed my thought process and helped me was, were you thinking about an individual that entire time? And the answer is always yes, I was. You are that individual to everybody else on your job.
Thinking about, yeah.
So be the person that was on the better job, right? Do those things, try to do those things. Don't be the guy that was on the worst job, guy or gal, that was on the worst job that you're reflecting upon. So that helped me big time.
Yeah, so I think what I would like to share as a final thought would be the impact. I think 37 years in the industry and to still be relevant and still have passion for this industry and still learning in this industry and still have so much to give back. If you can reach somebody, it's so amazing to do that. I had an email come to me that was I wasn't expecting it, out of schedule, and it was from an intern. And it made my day, literally made my day. And she's doing phenomenal things that she shared with me by way of her junior year in college. And then finishes up with Emerson, I'd love to hear what you're doing. I'm like, I can't top that. What she was doing was phenomenal. But I shared, I still had something to share, but I let her know one thing. I said, your letter came at a time to where I stopped everything. I was with a dinner with some of my companions in the industry, and I read your email. And I said, those are the things that matter. So impacting the industry or one person, for me, that's important. That's value to me.
Hey, Emerson, somebody's walking towards the leading edge over there. Can you get them to
So for me, I think my final thoughts, right, are I actually just want to say thanks to all of those superintendents that I worked with that kind of opened up my eyes into how wrong I was working before, how much I was driving people, how much I was just not giving a shit about site conditions, about how people were feeling when they stepped on the job site, how they were going home. So I want to say thanks to those people first, but then I really just want to say how much I appreciate each and every one of you, really, because you not only elevate the way I want to work on a job site and I want other people to leave when I'm, running a job and feel when I'm running a job, but it's really about just elevating myself to be the best individual I can every day. When I wake up, be thankful that I have the day ahead of me and try to really move forward and make an impact in someone's life. Even if it's just one person, I've done my part.
It's pretty badass.
So final thought. So a lot of good discussion. The world's an unfair place. In fact, fair is where you buy and sell hogs and take pony rides. But
do that in Texas.
It can be just, and I think it's on us as people in the industry to try to make it just to everybody. I'm a very passionate person. I have always been, was a hammer for years, and I've learned to change it over the years. I'm very aware with 6 superintendents and 35 subs for me that I have to be the one that is calm in the situation. Even if I'm not happy about something, don't need to raise my voice, but I have to keep the calm, because when I'm calm, it projects everybody else to be calm and calm down, and we solve the situation. Every day is a new challenge. We as old guys have to learn every day to make our adjustments to it, just like the new person in the industry, and then pass those lessons on. Like I said earlier, none of us got to where we are by ourselves, and it's our duty to pay it forward and pay it back. And we give Sam hard about being a trade partner, but none of us would be successful without all our trade partners. He's a good-natured fellow, but we like to give him a hard time. But he gives it back as good as he gives.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's one of my strengths. I'm going to go, I think Emerson said it, or somebody in the group said, you do you. Somebody said that. Okay. It hit home because there's 4 people in my life that have made me where I am today. That's my 3 kids and my wife. And growing up, my kids got this same message every day. Don't ever be the follower, be the leader, and you do you from me, and you will be just fine in life. And I'm very proud to say they are. Okay. So the you do you really hit home. All right. Yeah. So, but to go a different way than this is all great conversation. I love it. I respect every one of you, and I love every one of you guys. And this group is what it's all about, and it's made me a better person. So those 4 that I enjoy and I love, they all 4 thank you guys too.
Hey, there's somebody going towards the leading edge over there saying stop him.
Hey guys,
Hey, wait a minute. Oh, whoa. Sorry. Off or on?
Yeah. Oh, final thoughts now. I think I got 2 things.
Production runs?
No, not about production. No, nobody understands me. That's Swahili around here, So
we gotta get some more.
The first thing I'm gonna say is whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. It's all up to you.
Find where you focus.
You know what I mean? And the second thing I'm gonna say is from Tim Grover, be great in the relentless pursuit of excellence. if you're not pursuing excellence, you might want to look at the mirror and ask yourself, why not?
Nice. I want to go last, if that's okay.
Yes, I would say I got two things. One is keep that growth mindset. You got to understand that nobody's perfect. We're always developing. We're always growing. Us old dogs got a lot to learn. I learn a ton from my kids who are a lot younger than me, right? So just always continue to be that sponge and continue to have grace that you're not going to be perfect and you're going to mess it up. And then I would say try to find the positive. Everybody we walk by has some creative genius. Everybody we walk by was made for a purpose, and we've got to understand that and appreciate that and pull that out of them so we can all get better.
Fantastic.
All right, I chose the best job in the entire world on purpose, and that is the superintendent. And what I want to leave with, Adam, hold your breath, the culture on our project is 100% driven by us. And I want to add into what James had said earlier as well. You know, not that it's necessarily an act, but what we bring every day is what other people receive from us, and we've already heard that. So I say let's keep going out and doing that, and let's bring that to our projects.
Yeah, my final thoughts. Man, where was this group 15, 20 years ago when I was getting my start?
We're all getting our ass kicked, I think. What were you doing?
If the Old Dawgs, Old Dawgs would have been a thing 15, 20 years ago, and I would have gotten influenced by y'all that long ago in my career, where would I be now, right? So I want to say that, but you can't go back in time. But for all the young pups, all the people out there right now that are getting their start, like, this is a resource. Like, we're willing to share with anybody. So just keep that in mind. If you see us, or if you hear from us on a podcast, or see us on LinkedIn, whatever, I mean, we want to help. Someone
Leading edge.
All right, so final thoughts is just, I'm one of the newer Old Dawgs, and I'm just thankful for all you guys just accepting, man. And so my final thoughts is actually for the people listening to the podcast. Come join us. It'll be one of the best decisions you make. So if you're listening out there, man, join this group. I couldn't find a better group of guys to be around, to learn from, just to mentor each other. So out there in the podcast world, you got to come join the Old Dawgs, man. It'll be the best $10 a month you'll spend. There ain't nothing better than that. So come join us. That's the only thing I can say.
Yeah, and again, that reminder, right? That money goes to collecting a fund to send Old Dawgs to universities so that we can go do what Boone requested earlier. Hey, Justin, well, you're just in time for final thoughts, my brother. So this is the final. Yeah, so introduce yourself. What's an Old Dawg? 15 seconds.
Yeah, an Old Dawg, someone who wants to take all their knowledge that they've learned either by trial and error or through their own learning and pass it on to the next generation to make construction a place where people want to be.
Okay, one more challenge for you. There's somebody walking over there toward us, the leading edge over there. You got to stop him right now. What are you going to do?
I'm going to go over there and talk to him.
Here's the mic.
Politely? Hey! We're just trying to get attention over here, that's all. No, it was a joke. It was a joke. He's really looking for him. So, real fast, final thought. We just sat here for one. Let me start with this. LCI, thank you for this opportunity, because these are conversations that don't typically happen at an event like this. And we actually are, I almost feel like a president behind the bulletproof glass podium here, but no, okay. At least I got Brian Childs in front of me. He is bulletproof. But no, seriously, thank you, LCI, for this opportunity. Keon and Jen, amazing folks working tirelessly, not getting tired, but being outstanding. Shout out Jesse Itzler. Chris Voss this morning was amazing. Just to have this space for us to gather, right? We did violate some rules, Miss Eileen. We apologize for doing that. Thank you for that. It was him. No, and we regretfully did that. We might do it again. We probably did it with the couches, but I just want to say thank you. That's huge for us to congregate here and allow us to spread the message in a beautiful, wonderful setting like this. And then secondly, let me address, you called yourself a newer Old Dawg, and that couldn't be less of the truth, because we've had 5 people join since we've been here, paying members, We got the Chow's bros who've joined since you've been involved. And
One of them right there, Joe. He just
nice.
yesterday.
Tell them to come over here, will you? Yeah, if you could. This is one of the newest Old Dogs. I've been talking to this man almost every 3 days a week, and makes me a better man. Boone, call you. James, I call you. Like, Jeff, I call you. LR, we talk 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Weird times. James, I'm gonna start calling you more.
You can
But Sam, yeah, I can't. I bought my nice boots that hurt my feet walking. Just come walk your job. But point being, every one of you make me not a better builder, a better human. Yes, a better man. I feel more confident. I feel like a better person. I am set up better for myself. Please.
Been in several groups with different companies. It's always competitive. Listen, one group heard all the companies have not been competitive.
That's huge. We're cross company lines, right? We're cross company lines.
Here's 2 guys I want to introduce you guys to.
Come on, Jason. What's up, Jason? Met you already.
Just jumped up on school, and Joe just jumped up on school.
Joe, you got school too? Welcome, brother. So we're finishing up our
Let me tell
podcast.
you where I met these guys at is Wheel helped out with Schroeder. He was doing a general superintendent book, and we were doing edits with them. So I met both these guys, and they're freaking awesome. Like,
Yeah.
Old dog mentality, to care about people, care about the industry, care about the job site.
So let's see.
I've been
So
wrangling them in, man.
why did you join? Why did you decide to take a leap of faith? Here, you're welcome to my seat too. Let's switch here. Why did Jason? Well, maybe no. What's an old dog? 10 seconds or less, and then why did you come hang out with us crazy old dogs?
I mean, for me, an old dog is somebody who's been around for a while that has a lot of knowledge to share to guys who don't.
Fair enough.
And then, why did I join? Because I want to make a difference. And I wish I had some people when I was younger to teach me and for me to learn some hard lessons and maybe accelerate my career a little bit.
Amen. You want to pass that mic? And I'm going to, same questions right back at you, brother.
Question, why did I join?
Yeah, well, what's an old dog to you?
What's an old
And then, why would you come bark with us?
Yeah, I think an old dog isn't necessarily relating to a guy's age. I think it's a guy who's just got some experience and wants to other people to benefit from it. So
Amen.
I think there's, I'm 56, and there's lots that I learn from guys who are 30. So I think I joined because I love the sharing of knowledge.
I love that. I couldn't think of a better way to go out. You go ahead and hold on to that, baby. So I want to try this again. We did this in sweat equity, and I try this at my daily huddles, and it's tough, okay? And Jason, you mentioned Jason Schroeder. Shout out to Jason. He does a lot of hard work in this industry to change it, right? And he has the on we go at the end of his podcast. Actually, and so what I want to do, and before we do this, maybe we'll do a practice. And then I would like to challenge this group. I'm going to go try and sell Keon on something because they gave me the keys to their Ferrari, the Lean Builder. I can't believe they trusted an old dog geek with the Lean Builder keys to the Ferrari, but it's about to go down. And so I would like for us to maybe throw it down on the floor. I'm an old quarterback. In high school, I was a quarterback. And so we had a huddle, right? Like a daily huddle. And at the end of the huddle, for us to be on the same page, we clapped at the same time, right? So I'm gonna call a play, and then I'm gonna bring it out, and it's gonna be, okay? I just want to clap at the same time, all right? All right, we're gonna go. Old dogs on 3. Old dogs on 3. 1, 2, 3. Woo! We don't need no practice. So here's the idea. That was our practice. Listen, the Lean Builder podcast has been Hoots on the ground for 3 years, right? We've converted to Old Dogs on the ground, and I want to share this Ferrari. It's a beautiful, fast machine, and Keon looks pretty in it with his hair. In the passenger seat with Joe in the back, baby, because they're building. But the Old Dogs in this group, I want to try and figure out how we co-host that thing together. Maybe one takes one. We talked about this a little bit last night. So when you see Keon, maybe kind of grease the wheels for me. Keon, I'm sorry, brother, but you gave me the keys, Keon. So we're gonna break this one last time. We're gonna go Old Dog Ferrari on 3. Old Dog Ferrari on 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. Thank you guys. That was awesome, man. That was freaking awesome.
Say your best to me.